First up, we start with Whitehall. It's 0.6 miles long, about 26 metres wide. That gives you 25,000 square metres of space. At shoulder-to-shoulder density, 9 to 10 people per square metre. Undeniable, Whitehall alone holds 226 to 251,000 people. That's already more than double the MSM claim on a single street. But it didn't stop there. The march spilled over Westminster Bridge, packed into the Strand, circled around Waterloo Station, filled the massive stretch by King's College and spread lightly towards Archbishop's Park, add in Parliament Square and the side roads, and the footprint grows fast. Then we need to run the numbers through AI and cross-reference it with Google Map Zones, and you get 855 to 951,000 people. That's well over 750,000, pushing close to 1 million strong. Now, I've seen some claims of 1.5 to 3 million. Realistically, those numbers just wouldn't physically fit in the space. But let's not get distracted. The real turnout was still nearly 8 times what the MSM want you to believe. And here's the thing. Whitehall alone debunks the official story. If it wasn't shoulder to shoulder, then tell me, is the footage I'm showing you fake?
Well, that debunks the 110,000 the MSN said were at the United Kingdom rally at the weekend. I was there. A load of people were there. It was fantastic. There were a few things on the aftermath and the kind of political rollout following it that have sort of incensed me a little bit. I bet you can guess what they are. So stay tuned. We'll get into it. Hello Envy UK, welcome back. It's Pete. I am back fresh from the rally. I've dried out from getting wet a couple of times. You must have saw the video. If you didn't, check this link out here and you will see my walk through the rally, different bits, getting stopped at Westminster Bridge, having to do a left flank over the Hungerford Bridge, and then up into almost what looked like was going to be a kickoff, but there was no kickoff. The organisers come round, they sorted it out. It was great. Well done, the security at the event. Absolutely well done, first class. Right, let's get into it. So, as we've seen following on the Saturday night, Sunday, yesterday, Monday, Tuesday, as I'm making this, I'm probably not going to get this out today, it'll be tomorrow. But we've seen it. Prepare for violence. It's going to be violent. There were all these right-wing thugs. You've got Keir Starmer. Not that we pay a blind bit of attention to what that guy says. But you can see him here. I'll just drag his quote onto the screen. Only earlier on today, Tuesday, the 16th, we are a fair, tolerant and decent country. Yeah, we could have told you that. But we are in the fight of our times. Against who? The Russians. We must choose patriotic national renewal over decline and toxic division every time. Bang is on board. He is on board with what we're trying to do here. He wants a patriotic national renewal, i.e. get the deadwood out, the grifters, the thieves, the swamp. We need it drained. Coin a phrase. So coming out with stuff like that, you've probably seen it. If you're interested in this kind of content, you've seen a lot of coverage already where you've got scenes like this. I'll pull this up on the screen here. You can see this standoff. Now they're trying to say that the Patriots were finding a way around side streets to try and get to the counter protest to cause violence. Well, that is not the case. What happened was the police that were drafted in from wherever in the country didn't know the area. So they've directed the Patriots up a street, said go up there, hooker whatever left or right, and then you will be at the main rally and you can rejoin it. Because there were so many people, everyone was everywhere and trying to get places, the police had to shut places down. I get that for security. They had to shut Westminster Bridge because the amount of people that had gone forward to where the actual event was down near Downing Street, it was too many people. It would have caused a crush. It would have caused mega accident. And fair play to the Patriots and the police. Now, I've got to say now, I watched back Dan Wootton, Outspoken's full, amazing coverage of the whole thing. Even with the technical glitches that he talked about, it was amazing. He'd done a sterling job and I recommend it. Check out wherever here, put a picture of the thumbnail up, Dan Wootton that is. So he'd done a good show there. Now, on there, you could see all of the speakers on the stage, and Tommy Robinson come on and he was like, right, what you don't know is Westminster Council cancelled, revoked the licence for the event on Thursday night. The police phoned Tommy, said, you can't do it. Tommy said, this is what they always do. They want us to come down, cause trouble, and then you guys get it in the neck because there's so many people, we can't cope. And it's a disaster. They look good. All of us look bad. So make a decision, because people are going to come this weekend, whether the event is on or not, they're coming. Because it's the mechanism, the engine that we can say our piece without going to prison for posting content or whatever it may be. In a slip of a moment, boom, you got the old bill knocking on your door. Anyway, so the Metropolitan Police decided to not enforce the order issued by Westminster Council. Now, you've got to give it to them. Fair play to them. They knew that a lot of people were coming, and they knew if a lot of people came and there was no one organising them, no security in place throughout the whole crowd by the organisers, and and nothing to do, they're going to come down. They're going to be angry because they've travelled, they've saved for a long time for this, a long time to come and be a part of this. They'll get down here and they would be absolutely pissed. I would be. I'd be like, what do you mean there's no event? That's crazy. We're still going down there. We'll march there ourselves and there will be nothing in place other than a line of police. And that would be even worse optics. So fair play to the police. Right, that's it. That's my annual praise of the police out the way. Possibly might not happen again until the next one. But there you go. I doff my cap to you all, and I hope that everyone else does too. This, however, is really tragic to see. Now, let me put this image up here, because this is the image that the media are portraying at the moment, and it's not on. It's disgusting. They've got here, because those out-of-towner police has directed them up the wrong street, bang, straight into a whatever crusty brigade it was. I don't know if it was Stop the Hate or Stand Up to Racism or whatever it may be, you know. But this was what was sold as the event, and this is what they do to try and stop people coming to the next one, trying to make it villainous. But I'm not having it. And you know, now GB News, watching a bit of coverage, they on the whole reported the riots. I was really disappointed, but then they turned a corner. And I'll play this by Doogie, who was in on Dawn's show. So credit to GB News. Thank you. And Doogie, fair play to you, mate. Let's listen. It's a minute and a half. Put it full screen. Stay tuned. We'll be back at the end of it and we'll keep going, because you're not going to believe what some other politicians have said. So up to this point, leave a comment. Let me know what you think so far. Then, trust me, you're going to want to leave a comment when we get back from the video and show you these things here. Right, let's roll a clip.
We're families, we're elderly people, right through to youngsters that were taking part in this. And that's why I went there. That's why I didn't go to the stage. That's why I didn't look for the big interviews that were there. I wanted to know what was happening on the ground, because those people that were there will shape the next elections in Britain. And it's a good, you know, it's so much better than looking at statistics that's coming out from YouGov or whatever. Let's go and have a look. Let's talk to them. Let's get in amongst them. Yeah, see what they're thinking.
Do you want to be Prime Minister?
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to be doing that.
But so, you know, get in amongst them. Talk to them. See what's happening on the ground. And I did that all day yesterday. And 99.9%. In fact, I don't think I actually spoke to one person that was a thug, as is being described. Most of them, they weren't all Tommy Robinson supporters. That too is nonsense. In fact, I'd have said the vast majority of them were just middle-class people who have had enough. Epping Hotels came up about planning, the banning of flags, the migrant crisis, you know, so much more. Even people talking about how their children were being taught in schools. You know, all this seems to have boiled up into one big frustrated bunch who have went into London, flew from all over Britain, many of them travelling a couple of days to get there. They showed their flags and they walked through and basically said to government, enough, listen to us, see how many of us...
Did you see any violence at all, Dougie?
I did.
A lot has been made of the 25 people being arrested, but if you look back at all the big marches in London recently, Black Lives Matter, Extinction Rebellion, Palestine Action, the anti-vax one going back that time, and even the Notting Hill Carnival.
All right then, yeah, so well done, Doogie and Dawn. Thank you very much for that. And again, credit to GB News. So what we'll do is, on the note of what Dawn was saying there, I'll just whip this picture up here. So this is how the MSM, the mainstream media, will frame the narrative. That's the term I'm looking for. Will try to convince you that the Notting Hill Carnival, which is a celebration of Caribbean culture, and you know, it's been going forever, but in the last 10-15 years it's become more and more violent, and you can see that by the official Metropolitan Crime Statistics. Notting Hill Carnival, 528 arrests, 46 weapon possessions, 18 SUL offences, and the MSM and the left-wing narrative, a lovely family day out. My God, I'd hate to see what you call a bad family day out. And then if you take a look on the United Kingdom rally, arrests 9. And let's face it, there was, like we saw in the intro, there was best part of 1 million people. I mean, if you listen to some of the other commentators, they'll say 2 or 3 million. That guy seemed pretty confident in the maths. And I'm kind of going to lean towards what he was saying. At a push, I'll give him a 1.5 million, all right? 1.5 million is what I'll go with. There was a lot of people. So 9 arrests in 1.5 million people. 0 weapon possessions, 0 SUL offences, but this rally is described as far-right racist yobs. You know, bar a bit of angsty behaviour, which I showed in my short yesterday, which didn't actually kick off. It was getting heated, and it was very heated because the police were pushing the line forward when they didn't need to. That was the point. That was what was agitating people. But the security come round from the organisers' event and all seemed to go nice and calm again. Imagine that. Like, people respect the organisers' efforts. Fair play. Is someone else who describes Notting Hill Carnival as a celebratory festival of whatever is Mayor Sadiq Khan. Now, he put out a post today on X, which conveniently he's blocked the comments. So he's obviously scared about what people might say to him. Now, I'll zoom in on this a little bit so we can read down it together. I know many people, particularly from London's diverse communities, are feeling extremely worried following the events this weekend. Yeah, if I was Jewish, I'd be very upset about the 5,000 anti-Semites there running around waving Palestine flags and jihad flags and calling death to Jews. Yeah, I'll be proper upset and worried too. So yeah, I get that. I agree with him. You know, the Jewish community is very concerned right now about the amount of Hamas support and Palestine action going on. So let's get into this. I know many people, particularly from London's diverse communities, are feeling extremely worried following the events this weekend. Like the Jewish community, have been feeling scared, victimised and intimidated since October the 7th, when Hamas went over the fence in Israel and butchered over 1,200 people. Ever since, the whole streets of London every weekend have been filled with jihad flags, Palestine flags, and whatever else you can get down there that's toxic and intimidating to any of the Jewish community. So yeah, I don't know who you're worried about here, but I would think long and hard before throwing stones in glass houses. Then it says, it takes me back to how I felt growing up in the 70s and 80s when the far-right political parties marched on our streets. Well, I was born in 77, which incidentally is a fine vintage. But if you grew up or you were there in the 70s, I was way too young for this sort of stuff in the 80s. I do remember the turbulence. Could you leave me a comment and let me know exactly what you think or remember from those periods of time, and help us out and help other viewers that are a younger generation coming through to understand what went before, so we can be better educated. We want to hear what you've got to say rather than close you down. So then so it says here, the leaders of the far right once again attempting to hijack our flag, with minorities being intimidated and fear, hatred and division being sown. Okay, let's break that down. So the leaders of the far right. Right, okay. So being concerned, like the pink ladies were there, being concerned about our children is far right. Yeah, we got that. Hijack our flag. What do you mean hijack your fucking flag? I was in the army. I went to war, prepared to die for this flag. I'm not hijacking nothing. It's my flag. It's your flag. It's everyone who's British's flag. We stand up, we fight, and we get behind the colours. No retreat, no surrender, forwards. That's that's what we do it. That's what we did on Saturday, Sadiq Khan. We got off our Jack Jones, as Katie Hopkins said, because Tommy Robinson asked us to. He asked for our support, and do you know what? We come down and we supported him, because he's the only one of the few, I might add, who's standing up and saying as it is. So now they've got a mega problem, because as Richard said to me, he goes, well, this is a problem because the media will say 110,000 people come down, and your grandma will sit there being spoon-fed it and going, oh, were you in danger? Were you in danger? You were down there with all those yobbos. I saw the picture. And people will turn around who were there and say, no, it was nothing like that. There were nothing like that at all. Actually, it was more like a festival. There were pensioners, there were middle class, working class, posh, poor. There were young, there were babies, there were dogs. There was a chihuahua there. I mean, that was not scary for the chihuahua. So, you know, I'm a big dog fan. Anyway, so all of these people stand behind the flag. So we're not hijacked anything. In fact, Sadiq Khan, you've hijacked London. And Saturday said, we're going to take it back. We're not inciting violence. We're not going to do it. We're not violent. This is our country. We don't need to be violent because it's ours, mate. You're the one coming in here with your, let's say, so I don't get caught up with the algorithm, your abuse gangs, utter sick fucking abuse gangs, trying to degrade, demoralise and divide the fabric, the family unit. You know, we don't marry children in Britain. That's a start, you know, so there you go. So we're hijacking nothing. This is our flag, not yours. So on your bike, mate, jog on, you utter melt. Then we've got, as Londoners and proud Brits, we must unite to reject the far right, just as we have done many times before. Well, there was 1.5 million of us there on Saturday, and best guess there was 5,000 crusties there. You would have been bulldozed, mate, absolutely bulldozed. But we're not here for violence. We don't need to be. It's our country. You can just jog on. Just, I tell you what will get rid of them. Cut the benefits. They'll all go. They'll go to France. They'll go to Holland. They'll go to Germany, where they can start sponging off of the next soft touch state. Anyway, it's back on task, Pete. But it's going to take a huge effort from us all, from people of all races and backgrounds, who are willing to stand up for British values of equality, inclusion and mutual respect. Right, that actually sounds like everyone at United Kingdom. All races, all backgrounds, They were standing up for our British values of equality and mutual respect. Equality and inclusion don't work. Let me do a video on that another time. As mayor, I'll continue to do everything I can to challenge the far right and all of those who peddle politics of fear and division. Well, I'm sorry. Let me just finish this and I'll come back to that. I urge the other politicians and Londoners to do the same. And then he's grayed out the comments because he knows he'll get bazookaed in the comments by people that are just about to erupt. So going back here, for all those who peddle the politics of fear and division. Okay, this is it. This is Charlie Kirk, God rest your soul, mate. And massive condolences to his family, 2 young children, beautiful wife, taken too soon, honestly. And he's not the only one. He's not the only one that's been taken. We've got Peter Lynch, sadly last year, took his life because of his situation, but that he found himself in as a political prisoner. Anyway, if you keep calling people Nazis, fascists, neo-scumbags, whatever pet term you've got for them, for whoever stands up for British values, if you keep doing this and you keep driving it and driving it and driving it, you are no better than these people who go and cause mass murders by blowing themselves up. I can't say the T word. You are becoming radicalized like them, because then one day you're going to go and snap and act on it like that absolute, just by my tongue from I said the wrong word on TV, absolute idiot who shot Charlie Kirk and murdered him. Sadiq Khan, you are creating that level of rhetoric. You need to stop it. You need to wind your neck in, and you need to just tone it down. What British values do you actually have? None. Exactly none. Ant Middleton is going to wipe the floor with you. Leave me a comment if you think Ant Middleton would make a great mayor. Right, so Sadiq Khan, you are absolutely just no good for us, mate. You're no good. I just want to cry. And I don't even live in London. I feel sorry for the Londoners. Anyway, be strong. Right, I'm going to leave it there. I've had enough. I just wanted to get over the fact that you saw my video. You saw, apart from the one street where there was a little bit of tension because the police were really, really pushing their luck. Actually, yeah, no, I'll do that another time. There's plenty of coverage out there. I really urge you to tune into some of the other channels and check out what happened. There's some really, really good stuff out there. But for the mega coverage, the whole shebang of 5 hours, do check out Dan Wootton's coverage because it was really good. Well done, Dan. I don't know you from Adam, but well done, mate. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one. That's Pete from MV UK.